Ladies and gentlemen, on the line, I have Leak. What up, Leak?
What up, everybody?
Man, appreciate you joining the show, man.
Oh yeah, it's all good. I appreciate the way you hook it up for us, man. You've been shouting us out for a minute, so I've been listening. I'm like, okay,
thank you.
I appreciate that because a lot of people don't, give us our props or, our due respect.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Now you went by on the B side. You went by Lil CK. For anyone who doesn't know, should have been a B dog. Rip a C in half. And I'm going to be saying terms throughout the show, and I mean no disrespect to the blue team. I'm just, it's a historical purposes only is why I'm using these words, but we're definitely going to talk about that. But before we even get into banging on wax, man, let's talk about your life, dude. Let's take it all the way back, man. Tell everybody where you grew up.
So okay, so as everybody know, my brother is REDRUM. So we was born in the Bronx, New York, but we moved out here when we was about like 2 or 3. Well, I was about 2 or 3, and he was he like 2.5 years older than me, so he was like 5 or 6, something like that. So yeah, we grew up we came out here to LA on the east side in Avalon neighborhood, and then we moved around for a little while. But then my grandmother eventually moved to Inglewood in the early 80s, maybe even was like in the early 70s, like late 70s. My bad. Late 70s, early 80s. My grandmother had moved to Inglewood, so we was going to school that way, So eventually my mom's moved over that way too. So shit, that's where we landed at, and called home. So basically,
okay,
that's where I grew up at. And,
what was your life like before you jumped off the porch?
I was, a regular school kid. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll give you a little insight in like my elementary school. So when I grew up, coming up in the early 80s, it was mostly like Crips. You know what I'm saying? It was more Crip based, especially where I lived at, because I lived in Inglewood on Crenshaw and Imperial between Crenshaw and Van Ness. So over there it was mostly Crip based. And then where I went to school I went to James Q, which eventually turned to Bennett Q. That's where, it was a little Crip elementary school, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I first got introduced to the gang bang. And even on my block, I had, introduced to some guys they was, Crip affiliated, and, I really didn't know what it was. Coming up, I heard about it, but I really didn't know what it was. And, all I knew was, it was a little thug dudes. And so, I eventually became friends with this dude from IVC. His name was Toby. They called him Lil Lee Mac, shout out to him. And we became friends, and shit, ever since then, I just started, catching on to the lingo and what dudes wear. But it was only like, only seemed like the Crip side. I really didn't know no blood. So basically, that's how my first beginning started. It was like really, I was introduced to like the Crips first, so, and then from there, I used to, going back and forth to school, see little stuff. And then I eventually went to Monroe, which it was like a whole different light to me, because it was like Bloods and Crips. And it was like, I had, like I said, I had the homie from IVC, but, we wasn't like close like that. We was close, but not close like that. So eventually when we started going to junior high school, he went his way, I went mine. So, I just knew it. I knew, like, all my friends was like Crips at first. I had a homie from Santana. I had a homie from Watergate. I had a homie from IVC, which they didn't get along. So them two used to clash a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Had a little fights and shit. I used to laugh, thinking it's funny, like, damn, both of y'all Crips and y'all be beefing, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit crazy. So, but, so just like I said, as I coming up, I knew all these Crip dudes, but they knew I wasn't about to be affiliated with it, because I didn't really like how they got down and they little bickering, and you know what I'm saying? They just it wasn't my style type of thing. And I wasn't really trying to even gang bang like that. I just know all the gang bangers. So, I didn't choose a side in the beginning. Then eventually, like I said, going to Monroe, I started meeting people, and you know what I'm saying? And I even was like saying Loke and shit, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to be a Crip, but you know what I'm saying? I was saying Loke, and because that's all I knew, trying to be cool, you know what I'm saying? So that was my introduction to that. Then I met the homies from Avenues and Crenshaw Mafias and families, and it was just a whole different light. And then I got real cool with them, and then eventually I just, that was closer to my house. So when I would go to school, that's the neighborhoods I would go through and meet dudes from over there. And then my 7th grade year, you know what I'm saying, that's when I kind of got like turned out.
Was your brother already, and RIP to your brother, man, great man, nice with the pen. We're going to talk about him a little bit later, but was he already involved in the street life as well?
Nah, he was just rapping. My brother was always like that rapper dude to just wear the Kango and just running around rapping and battling dudes. That was his thing. He used to love to battle. Like, y'all just want to show that I'm the best. So he was the light skinned Dominator. So that was his nickname, LSD. So he would just run around battling people. That's how we met Corrupt and Marcel from IBC and Big Y. Because they was all rappers. They was just rappers. They wasn't gang banging. There was nothing like that. Because back then, like I tell people, back in the early 80s, if you was rapping, that was corny. So gang banging and rapping didn't mix. Back then, you had little stuff like Ice-T, you know what I'm saying? But that was like real early on, so people didn't even know that he was a gang member. He would just say like gangster stuff. So, so we would like the music, but we wasn't really into, like I said, the two didn't mix. So they was just rappers back then. There wasn't no gang stuff.
I'm at a crossroads every damn day, looking back at my past when I sleep. But living on the edge, not doing enough. Iniquity down to my feet. What do I do when I need a little food and I gotta get the money for the rent? Fall to my knees, pray to the Lord, come my son, he can give me some money, repent. What, thank you. I really love you, baby, so I spank you. Life is a wet straight fucking you up. Living in a prison, I'ma shank you. So what's love got to do when you're winning with my heart on my sleeve, I'm a foe. But she said she loved me, she wanted to hug me under my sheets, so it's get told.
And I spy with my little mind's eye, dreams that are beyond what you can see in daylight, baby, ignore the rain. And everything gon' be okay. And while the world burns, I'll be near the skyline, and I'll be biding my time till I can ride the wave. Then everything gon' be okay. Yeah. What are the chances? You're picking a flight, we're leaving tonight. Pack up your bags, we're leaving this place and this baggage. Cause what can we do while Rome is collapsing? But not in a day, we'll be okay. Let's hit the off your Jackson. I'll pull up the map then, cause I'm through keeping up with these Joneses. Don't care what they're posting, you know you're only